In October, I had my 4th chemo cycle. It was the last treatment, and it took me longer to get over this one, but when I felt better, I decided to go and see my dad and Mary. They live in Stockport, where I grew up. Stockport is near the Peak District. I've loved the hills there since I was a girl, so I thought I'd ride through the Peak District over 2 days. What I really wanted to do was ride all the way from Nottingham, but I didn't know how I'd feel in the hills. So I scaled back the plan and decided to focus on the Derwent River and ride to a village called Hathersage and get a train from there. I still planned to camp wild for the first time since I started chemo, but instead of 75 miles, it would be about 60, and instead of 2,000 metres of climbing, it would be about 1,200. I hoped I could manage that fairly easily. Haha, you'll see what happened. Anyway, I set off from Nottingham and headed up the River Trent to find the mouth of the Derwent.
Show me what it's like to be circling among the clouds, because without you by my side, I would be stuck here on the ground.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? You know, it's often really nice to leave a city by the river. You often get quite good tracks to ride on. Oh, it's lovely. Beautiful. No, I know, it said it was 5% chance, we must have hit the 5%. That's a shame, isn't it? It's quite hard. You're going to risk it? Yeah, it's going away now. The sun's almost going to come out, isn't it? Take care. Yeah, take care, you too. They don't want to go. Bye. Bye-bye.
I can see the sun staring at you when you make that smile. I'm moving closer to you now. I can't get close enough somehow. And I was down until you saved me, until you set me free. My eyes were closed, now I see clear as day. And I just wanted to say that you can take me high. Feels like I can fly. I don't need anybody, I don't need anybody else. No one will ever take me, no one will ever take me away from you. I promise I will hold on to you. I don't know what I'd do without you. Without you.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, we're in this big group, isn't it? Oh wow.
Feels like I take me high.
Going here. God, how lovely. Beautiful day. I've still got all these problems with my eyes and my nose runs all the time. This morning I was worried it was actually infected, but I don't think it's infected. It's just the constant tears. But apart from the tears and the nose running, I was pretty much fine. This part of the ride was fairly easy and flat. So that is where the Derwent flows into the Trent. So I'm going to follow the Derwent heading north. And the source of it is right up in the Peak District, in between Sheffield and Manchester. And I'm going to go up towards the source. The thing is, I grew up in Manchester. When I was little, we always used to spend time on the west side of the Peak District, but we hardly ever came to the east side because it was a long way, obviously. And the Derwent flows up the east side of the Peak District, so I'm really excited. A lot of the places I haven't seen. It's almost time for lunch, actually. I was hoping to reach Derby or Alfriston near Derby, so I'll see if I can get there. Probably not.
Hey, I wish I could show you more, 'cause baby you deserve some more. Still you're here and that's what I adore. Should've told you straight away everything I have to say, but I'm afraid and I know you haven't noticed.
So now I'm in, well, sort of on the edge of Derby, and here's the river. So this is the Derwent. I had to take a bit of a dog leg back there. So this is the Derwent now. It's huge industrial.
And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you.
So there was a Roman fort at Derby, and I went to go and see where it was.
Hey, I wish I could show you more, 'cause baby you deserve some more, but still you're here and
I'm just sort of north of the city centre now, and I'm right by the Derwent, and this is where there were two Roman things, a Roman baths. They had baths apparently, a little bit that way on the green, and then this was a fort. So what was going on apparently was that by about AD 47 the Romans had invaded England up to Derby. So Derby at that time was the front line. Once the Romans had put down rebellions, etc., they turned to industry, and one of the things they did here was mining. I wanted to go and see one of the places where they'd had lead mines. And now, suddenly, everything was changing. You know, it's suddenly stone. And now I could see the hills. Suddenly, climbing a little bit here.
hey, I wish you could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed, you know.
So now I'm at Milford, and I was riding and I could hear that sound of water. Milford was where the Romans had had a ford across the Derwent. The road leading away from the river is called the Chevin, which is an odd word and turns out to be Celtic. The Celts were the people who were here when the Romans came. The Celtic language still survives, of course, in Wales, but in England it died out, and there are only teeny tiny traces here, a few place names and whatnot, like here. It's amazing, though, to think that the word used by the British Celts is still used today. Apparently it means ridge. Now I was climbing up from Milford towards a little town called Wirksworth, where the Romans had had lead mines.
I wish you could see.
So now I was climbing up a Celtic hill on a Roman road.
I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You know, you know.
I'm walking actually. Oh, why not? Oh gosh, beautiful. Yeah. So I picked up water to put because there isn't very much really over the tops here. So lovely. You know, and I was in London this morning. I mean, London's nice, but I was a long way short of where I was hoping to get to actually, but I decided to look for a place to camp. I'm going to just walk down, I think, first to check it out, see if this will work. Woo-hoo. I think this will be good. It's really sheltered. I don't think people will come. Okay, get the bike. Thanks. More easily. Quite hard to pitch because it's so leaf mouldy. I'm going to fold the bike down and then sort of just review the whole thing. Yeah. That was a bit of a scramble actually. Yeah, because the first place I pitched it was okay, but couldn't really get the pegs in because it's really soft leaf mould. And so I've come down onto the edge of the field. I think it's okay. It's going to be dark soon. Whew. Oh, nice. Really nice. God. It's going to be amazing watching all the lights come on. Right, we're going to get everything sorted out, and then it's going to be dinner time. That's it. Good night.
Very good.
This tent. I just love it. I don't know where the gap is. Oh, where did I get through? Must be this way. Oh, come on, bite. God, that was really hard. You do have to wonder sometimes why I like it. I just don't think out. Oh, dear. Way out. Ooh, this is going to be quite hard. Right, time to go.
So on my first day I had ridden about 30 miles and done the very first part of the climbing that I was going to do on this ride. Now I was heading up to the highest point.
It's a welcome sight.
And now, at long last, miles behind schedule, I arrived in Wirksworth, which is where the Romans had mined lead. And I was looking for a little lead miner.
Gigantic. Wow. Little feet. Where's this bucket? It's so nice.
The miner was lovely, but actually the most amazing thing in the church was this.
This is another thing.
Apparently it's a coffin lid, so it should be flat. It was made not super long after the Romans had gone, and people say the people are standing like Romans and wearing sort of togas. It's Christian, obviously, but no one actually knows what some of the images are.
What's this?
That scene on the left, no one's sure about, but people think it's probably the dead going to hell. Poor things.
That's absolutely lovely. Look at the faces.
This is easier. This is Christ going to heaven.
This is just lovely. God, 1 that's quite a lot.
I did a massive descent down to a village called Cromford, where I'd find a whole other world. As I came into the village, I passed these gorgeous old houses. They were built in the late 1700s for people working at a cotton mill. So the men were weavers and the women and children worked at a spinning mill down in the bottom of the valley. The mill had water-powered spinning machines, which was a new thing. And it was a new thing to build a whole village like this to provide labour for the factory. So this is where they worked. And the whole place is famous because this was the first modern factory system in the world. So I just had a look at Arkwright's mill, which is there. And this is where Arkwright himself lived, in the big house high up over there. I'd read that there was an old chapel somewhere here where people could give thanks for getting safely across the river. What's that? I really like finding all these little corners. You couldn't possibly do this in a car because you couldn't stop. Right, it's nearly lunchtime now. I was really tired. It had been really up and down, and I still had about 20 miles to do to Hathersage. Oh. Quite tired actually. Oh, I'm practically hallucinating here. I am so tired. I really am tired. I've done it. Oh my god. What next? Where am I? Here. Oh, I'm just going to go to Grindleford. That is enough. I am so tired. Even the smallest little hill. I'm struggling.
I can't get close enough somehow. And I was there
Right, last bit.
until you saved me.
Grindleford.
My eyes were closed, now I see clear as day. And I just wanted to say that you can take me high. Feels like I can fly.
And the sun has come out.
I don't need anybody, I don't need anybody else. No one will ever take me, no one will ever take me away from you. I promise I will hold on to you. I don't know what I'd do without you.
I'd enjoyed it so much being back in the hills that I knew when I was young. But I hadn't been strong enough to do even the scaled back plan. Never mind, it's not surprising really. I just need to build myself up. I don't need to be fast or anything, I just want to be strong enough to do the things that I want to do. So that's what I'll do now, build myself up.
You can take me high.
So that's it. I'm just cycling the last tiny bit now. So that's the end of this little journey. Thank you so much for watching, and
You can take me high.
see you next time.